Welcome to the Missouri Tiger Hockey Pregame Show. I'm Owen Backer, joined alongside me, Noah Stremick. The Tigers on this Saturday coming off a clutch 3-2 victory over the Illinois Fighting Illini in this very building not 24 hours ago. They're trying to replicate that success. Noah, starting off just pretty basic, what do you think is the biggest takeaway from yesterday's game, and what do you think they need to do to improve?
Well, Owen, I think the biggest takeaway was that Missouri was able to create offensive opportunities almost at will. They continuously were getting the puck in the zone. They were getting these long chances, not really allowing Illinois to clear it out, and they were getting quality opportunities. If I'm Missouri, I want to keep those up. That's the key takeaway for me from it. But if you're Illinois, you got to just get your offense going. They really didn't get too many opportunities throughout the game to score. They also got the 2 goals, but besides that, they were maybe like 7 seconds, and after that, it was immediately getting cleared out. I think for both teams, it's more offensive, but just in opposite ways.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with all that. I mean, it was a very close game. Both teams probably want a little bit more offense out. There was a run where it felt like both teams had 5 or 6 power plays consecutively, and just nobody could quite get the goal to be scored. Some interesting line changes for the Tigers, no doubt, to try and spur that offense. Miles Morris been moved to the first line, as well as Eli Baumstark and Ethan DeGroat. So that is a brand new first line for the Tigers, splitting up Mason Buddy and Ethan DeGroat. Buddy still on that second line, but now he is centered by Knapp and with Rudman on his right. That is something we have not seen this year. Clearly, Coach Bob Bucher trying to spur some offense, because despite these players having great chemistry, they weren't able to really get it done offensively until very late in the third yesterday. Hemmer, Walker, and Setnar are going to slide in on the third line as well. That's interesting. Setnar, the freshman, Hemmer and Walker, who both scored yesterday. So you got to think that third line is going to be going. It's going to be juiced. It's going to be agitated. What do you think of these line changes, and how do you think it's going to kind of affect Missouri's game?
I mean, I think you kind of hit on it with Coach Bucher. He wants to get those lines out and change them up. They had a struggle in St. Louis in those games, and even though they got the win last night, you want to see what these different combinations of good star players and just all of your lines, you want to know what can work the best, what you can do to potentially get those changes in there. So I believe that these line changes are for that purpose, to try and get a spark of momentum to continue this out. They want to make sure, hey, we can continuously change these lines. We don't want to give teams a single look of what they know we will put every line. And I think it's also to build more chemistry between players. You want to create a system where your guys, you don't want this on continuous lines, as I previously said, but you want them to be able to work with multiple other players. You want to be able to change those lines for adjustments throughout the game. So I think that's the goal for Missouri, find out what they can do with their lines.
I would agree with that. One thing that is not changing is goaltending. Tanner Richardson, who started yesterday, is starting once again for Missouri. He played very well, only giving up 2 goals, even though he was tested quite a bit. He is definitely one person to look for. We've talked about goaltending a lot this year, so I'll say, other than Tanner Richardson, who do you have as your big X factor? I'll go first here. I've got Kyle Setnar. He has, in only 5 games this year, he has a goal and an assist, but he has looked so solid when he's been on the ice. For somebody who has not been on the team very long and is usually in the bottom 6, he is always very noticeable when he's on the ice. Sliding in the lineup tonight, didn't play yesterday. I think he is going to be refreshed while everybody else might be a little bit tired from the physical battle that was played yesterday. I think he is going to have a great game. He's going to get at least a point. That's my lock of the week, but I think he might even do a little bit more than that. What about you?
I think I'm going to go with Morris here. Clearly, Coach sees something in him to move him up to this top-line pairing. He wants him out there early and often to get those chances. And when you're putting a guy on that top line, you clearly have some sort of plan for him. I think this game we're going to see that plan. I think Morris, as you kind of mentioned with your guy, he's going to get a point. And maybe he'll do more. Maybe he'll get a goal in there. But I know for sure, and I guarantee it, he will go out there, he will get a point tonight for the Mizzou Tigers.
Yeah, Miles Morris, so solid this season. Somebody who, last season for long stretches really wasn't a huge factor in a lot. Absolutely exploded this year. He has been a permanent stay in that top 6, and he has for sure earned it. What is one thing that you think Illinois needs to do that they probably didn't do yesterday, one thing they need to do to overcome the Tigers, because it was certainly close. They very well could have won that game yesterday. That was a coin toss till the very end. But what is something that Illinois needs to do to finally put themselves over the hump and actually split this series?
I think it's got something I mentioned earlier, not allowing that much pressure on your goalie. Their offense wasn't really able to get too many opportunities, but the defense also really just did not help them out there. They continuously let Missouri get into the zone. They let them stay there for long stretches of time. I think looking at it from the Illinois perspective, you need to allow your goalie to not be staying on his head all game. You need to get more offensive time in this game, put more pressure on Tanner Richardson, and hopefully from there your defense can step it up and just hold him out.
Yeah, definitely. Litchfield yesterday absolutely swarmed, especially when Missouri had a few of those consecutive power plays. He was the reason Illinois was able to stay in the game for as long as they did. Definitely trying to alleviate some of that pressure. I think for Illinois, we've talked about it ad nauseum for Mizzou and every team they've played, but it's the discipline. We understand this ACHA hockey, and there are going to be penalties, but it's the unforced errors. It's the penalties taken after the play, mouthing off to the ref, giving a guy a cross-check in the back after the whistle's blown. That is just going to come back to bite you. Yesterday, Illinois was trying to maybe pull the goalie at the end of the game, see if they could tie it up, and they take a penalty with 48 seconds left, forcing them to pull the goalie and go 5-on-5, and it robbed them of their momentum, and they ended up losing the game. Maybe they win if they actually stay 5-on-5 and are able to go 6-on-5 with the goaltender pulled. We'll never know because it's those undisciplined, unforced errors. So I think that's the biggest thing they need to clean up. Lastly here, let's talk about the score prediction. I'm 50% on the season, which I think is very good for a score prediction, but we're going to see. So I'll let you go first. Yesterday was 3-2. What is your score prediction for today?
So last time on the pregame show, I was able to get the score prediction right, and as you would say, I'm here to defend my legacy. And going forward, looking at it, I think we're going to get a similar score. I think, though, Missouri's going to get one more on the board. I'm going to go 4-2 tonight for the Tigers.
I think this game will be opened up a little bit. I think the Tigers' new lines will produce a lot more offense, and I think they're going to be, a little bit jump-started, a little bit agitated. They're going to want to go and kind of not put the game so much down to the wire, but I think Illinois is thinking that too. I think it's going to stay close, but I think there's going to be a little bit more scoring. I'm going to say 4-3 is going to be your final score in this contest. Let's see. Come on. Give me that 66% correct rate on the season. Well, with that, this has been the Tiger pregame show. I'm Owen Backer. Join alongside me, Noah Stremick. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned to this very YouTube channel. We'll have the live stream puck drop scheduled for 7 o'clock. We'll see you then.